Good morning. I wonder what the red R means. The red R, Raptor R. So there's like a Raptor and then there's a red R there. I wonder what that means. There we go. So anyways, good day everyone. How's everybody doing to this beautiful Monday morning? You guys are today is your lucky day. Today's your lucky day. Would you say so, Fernando?
A lucky day, yeah.
Because we're gonna do something today, actually over the next couple days, that you guys absolutely enjoy so much. Supercharged V8 instead of a V6. Thank you. Pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Yeah. Might as well look, right? Oh yeah. Yeah.
Supercharged.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
My God.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. This is how we do it, baby.
I guess so. All right. All right. This Raptor R already has. Good morning, Mike. What's up? This already has a system in it. It already has a full system in it. It sounds like. What would you say it sounds like, Fernando?
It sounds like a don't do it.
Sounds like crap.
Yes.
This is a case in point where you have good equipment and it just still sucks. So today you're going to join us on a 911. We're stripping this thing back to factory and we're starting over. We'd love to film it as a normal video, but I feel this is way more fun because you guys get to see in real time what it is that's happening during the day. So we're going to pop back and forth in and we're going to show you guys what's happening. So this first video is going to be the start of what's going on. So what does it have in it? All right. It has a couple things in it. One of the things that it has in it is a Helix DSP. And so the first thing we want to do is listen to the car and we want to check out the Helix DSP and see what's going on with it. It's a 6 to 8, which is part of the problem. You don't put a 6 to 8. So just to fill you in, this is a BO system. And what that means is that there's a 6x9 inch mid bass from the factory here. There's a tweeter here. There's a 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch up in the top of the dash. There's speakers in the headrest. There's a rear surround. There's speakers in the rear door. There's a center channel. So it's a huge amount of speakers. And we've done enough of these, and we talked about enough of these to know that the factory system sucks with all these locations. However, you still need to put a decent amount of speakerage back in here. So you need a 3-way set up front. You need, if you're gonna do rears, you need rears. This one has a 2-way set up front. So they took out the factory 3-way set and went with a set of JL Audio C6 650. So they put a set of these in the front of the car. Okay, 2-way set. So they took out a 3-way set and put in a 2-way set. Mistake number one, because let's be honest, how many of you guys that have a factory 2-way set wish you had a factory 3-way set, right? Because you know it sounds better. And they took that, they didn't even, like, how, anyways, insert anything you want there. Matching C6 coaxial here in the back door. All right, so that's the first problem, is that we took out a 3-way set. Now let's talk about the DSP. So we went and we have active front stage to the nth degree with the BO system, and we took all that out and we put in a front and rear amplifier, 4-channel. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how dumb are you? Not the customer, the installers. You know, the customers don't know. They come to us, and they say, make my system sound better. And then they just put a crappy system in it. So bad design. Yep. So bad design, bad install. Yep. Garbage in, garbage out. All right. So let's take a look at this Helix DSP. There again, this is a case in point where we got great product, wrong product, bad installation, It's not going to make it sound better. So this is where it gets fun. So right here, channels A and B are set up as rear, and channels C and D are set up as front, and then we have sub. And you're like, okay, that kind of, all right, well, let's take a look at this again. Let's go to the outputs. Oh yeah, it's not gonna work because I turned it off. So the outputs are backwards. So believe it or not, this rear is actually the front. And the front is actually the rear. And they EQ'd the crap out of the rears, but didn't do anything to the front, which is the rears. So this is the rear channel, which is actually the front channel. And this is the front channel, which is actually the rear channel. Okay, yeah, I know, right? Crazy. Crossovers, they did set up the crossovers, but not... I mean, they did a 6 dB bezel crossover on the... Like, what the hell? Like, why even bother? It's pretty exciting. Time alignment doesn't exist, so there's no time alignment set up. So the factory that had a center channel speaker, there's no attempts to try to recapture that. And this is the second tune, so there's actually 2 tunes loaded on here. So more or less, we got a really cool box that is not doing anything. So that's fun. All right, so the joys of having a DSP. Not every system needs a DSP if you're not going to set it up properly. It could just do as much damage as you know, trying to help it. All right, now let's take a look. Morning. What's going on behind the seat? All right. So let's fold this down. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bad shop. All right, let me get some light. All right, let me turn this light. That'll probably do it. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on here. All right, so we got a JL Audio 1000 that is getting the shit scratched out of it. I mean, that's from the seat. We have the 404. We have the 6 to 8 or 6 mini DSP. This is the mini DSP, my bad. So it's a 6 in, 6 out mini DSP, not a 6 to 8. We have a Zen module. Believe it or not, this is the solution. So this was the fix. The first thing that he had installed, they didn't even bother to put a Zen in. They put a fix in, JL fix. Okay, which is like totally the wrong thing to put into this because they make a Zen. So you have a Zen, you have a pack, you have an iData, you have a Mobridge. There's 4 solutions. Well, actually, Zen and Mobridge are now one company, so there's those are the solutions that are available to you. 4 in, 6 out. Thanks, Jeff. Oh, and speaking of Jeff, if you guys are interested in watching the show tonight, which we will be back tonight on YouTube, our good friend Jeff Smith will be on. That's right. Jeff Smith is coming on the show tonight, and he's going to talk about this brand Helix and show us the new operating system. So if you love DSP talk and you like Jeff Smith, make sure to tune in tonight at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Jeff will be here. Back to your regularly scheduled program, which is this right here. All right, so carpeted amp rack. I don't know why they use this. This is like you couldn't go all the way over and just finish the amp rack, so we didn't. So, all right, ground. These are the grounds. Okay, those are the grounds. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with F-150s, let's kind of explain, because some of you might have just saw that and said, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that," and then you'd be like, "Okay." So an F-150 is made out of aluminum. Now there is, if you want to use a factory ground point, there's one located right here and there's one on the matching side over there. Zen Nav TV tells you specifically in their instructions that if you're going to use their module, you need to run a ground to the battery. If you do not, the warranty is void. Secondly, it's aluminum. This thing is, I think this might be steel. Hang on. Let's find out. I have a magnet. It is steel. Okay, so we have a piece of steel that's screwed down in using whatever those screws are made out of. And then the grounds, which are copper or some form of coated steel, going into aluminum. So this is one of those situations where you're like, it's amazing the damn thing turns on. Instructions. Would that mean you'd have to read, I think? Yeah, it's only like 2 pages though, Mike. So I mean, but yes, you're correct. You'll find out when the first question they ask you is, did you run a power wire to the battery? And they go, it's on page 2. Okay, so those are the grounds. So it's amazing this thing turns on. It does have turn on pop, which is exciting. So where do we start, right? That's kind of the question is where to go from here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the car apart. We're pulling out all the JL speakers. They're all coming out. There is going to be their speakers are gone. He doesn't like the way they sound. They're too harsh for him. Which there again, could be the DSP. Nothing against the speaker. We are going to keep the scratchy JL 1000 to power the JL Stealth box that he has underneath the seat. So we are going to be retaining that. But we are going to be pulling out the two-way set, and we're going to be replacing that with this set right here, which is the Morale Hybrid 63s. So he'd like something a lot smoother, a lot more calm, a lot more natural sounding. So we're going to go with this 3-way set up front. It's going to be active, not passive, because we are taking all of that stuff out and we're going to put in an Arc Audio Blackbird. Because there's not enough channels with the Helix, there's not enough channels with the Helix to do what we need to do. So we're just getting rid of that. The rear doors are going to stay factory for right now. We're going to pull out the C6s. He's going to sell all this stuff. The passenger door doesn't even work right now, which kind of has me scared, but we'll get to that later. We're just going to put the factory 6.5s back in. We plan on just using out of the Arc Audio, the up mixer, and doing surround only. So that will be that. And just DSP the fronts the way we want. So here's where we're at. The first thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery, and we're going to just start pulling everything out. Yes, he got robbed. There's no question about it. He's already got several $1,000s in this, and we're starting over and spending several more $1,000s. So, all right, so here's the plan, just so you guys understand what's going to happen today. Now that you know what we're dealing with, as we start to take the car apart and find more exciting things to show you guys, this is the first 911 of the year. So this is going to be a real-time 911. And as we benchmark our way through the system, we're going to come in and we're going to show you guys what's going on. So it could be we pop back in 10 minutes after we find something. It could be a couple hours from now once we dig into it and really find something. But the goal is to keep you guys in the loop and show you what it is we stumble across. Now, when the system is done, what we should have is a nice set of Morale 3-way sets and custom pods up front. We are going to keep the JL sub amp, but we will be making a new amp rack. We're going to reinstall all of this stuff back here, so none of this stuff is going to be in here. I can't wait to get this amp rack out and see if there's a hole where the factory subwoofer was or what they used to cover that. Because this one is a newer B&O, which uses that football subwoofer that that free airs out to the back of the car. It's back here somewhere. There's a giant hole in the back of the car. So I'm curious just to see how they covered that up. That'll be fun. Does the Zen act like a fancy amplifier replacement, or do you still need a amp signal? No, so this is the Zen module is the same concept as an Amp Pro. So it talks to, this is, all right, so we talk about A to B all the time. This is the A to B cable right here. So this guy right here, this is your A to B. It looks like a USB because it is. So this carries all the information. And then you have a couple data wires that go into here, and that's it. And then you have your preamp output located on this side, as well as a Toslink output. So somewhere behind here is where they've cut the harness to hook up all the speaker wires. So that ought to be interesting once we get to that, see what they've done. The other thing too is that on this one, some of the speaker wires are attached to the radio. So we got a lot of stuff to pull apart. Dean, I'm looking for a kicker key mic. Any idea or good source? Yeah, just give Paul a call. We have tons of them. He'll sell you one. 727-216-6170. You can also just call Kicker and they'll sell you one too. It's a part. So everyone, they're available. Taking bets on how many drywall screws are found total. My 608 and my amp have left, right for sub. Do I use 5, 6 on 7 and select mono, or just 7 and 8 using one RCA from DSP to amp? Please explain. I'm so confused. So you can select one of the mono channels. It doesn't really matter. If you select one of the mono channels, just select mono. You can assign those outputs. I would assign 7 or 8 as subwoofer. And you can sum them together. You can use 7 and 8, or just 7 or 8. You just select mono. Anytime you're doing a subwoofer, you always select mono on the audio control, in the settings across the bottom, and that's the output you use. And then you route your input signal to that you're trying to use. So if you're going to use 1 and 2 as your input, use that. 3 and 4, or a 5 and 6, whichever one, and just route it to that. So that's it. Really sucks for this truck owner. Damn nice truck. Yes. Will give me turn signal. Will the R give me turns? If you're wondering if it'll give you camera control for your Tundra, yes. So if you want to use all 4 cameras, there is an option to do that, yes. 6.5 versus 8-inch mid. Is there any pros on over the other? So when it comes to the 6 or 8-inch mid, if you're going to do an 8-inch mid, you definitely want to be doing a 3-way set, because otherwise you're going to have a hard time with the tweeter playing down low enough to pair up with it. But yeah, it's up to you. That's a big topic. We'll have to talk about that on a different show where we have lots of time. But all right, so for right now, that's what we got going on. Fernando's getting ready to disconnect the battery. Like I said, all they have is the power connected. There's no ground. We talk about this all the time too. When you are connecting to the ground, you connect here. You do not connect here, because this is what regulates the alternator, more or less. So make sure you go to this bolt and not this bolt. But they have this guy right here that I think was just tucked in. It was zip tied, right?
It was just a zip tied.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought it was zip tied. So nice thing is we already got one 0 gauge ran. So we'll make a cool mount for it and do all the other funness that we do. We'll strip it, and so anyways. All right, that's where we're at. Stay tuned. More fun and excitement to come. Good day, and welcome to the next part. So a little bit has passed, and it's given us some time to dig deep into this 911 of the Raptor R. If you haven't caught the first half, definitely go back and check that out. This is a continued series on what we're running into as far as this goes. So with that being said, where are we at right now? So we've had some time to pull things apart. All right. One of the problems with using the Zen module is that they don't give you a harness. And if you've caught any of our videos on the F-150s when we integrate into A to B, we show you where to get the harness so that you don't have to do this, which is what they did. They just hacked the crap out of the harness and left it. And this was just sitting there. This was all just sitting there like this, which is fine, I guess. So we'll repair this harness and get it back to factory and retape it and make it look factory. However, one of the things that they did, which I think is totally shameful, is they this is the front speaker wires here. And first off, they used Tessa tape, interior Tessa tape, as an insulator. And the reason you don't do that is because it's not really an insulator. It can be used for this type of, what the factory uses, but not that. This is where you have to use either solder with shrink wrap or electrical tape or something that, and then two big yellow butt connectors.
Bro.
This goes up to the tweeter, which I'll show you the tweeter mess in a minute. So that's gonna have to be fixed. So Fernando just got the passenger rear door off. This one doesn't play.
All right.
Oh,
People, we've been doing it wrong all this time. Like,
yeah.
these guys are the pros. So, this is how you mount.
That's pretty cool. That's how you make a coaxial?
No, this is how you destroy a beautiful truck. And dude, come on, man.
Well, at least they put some disconnects so you can get it apart.
Dude.
There you go.
Like,
Backstrap, baby. And at least they spray painted it black.
just stop.
Is it? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is it screwed in? So it's just, yeah, that's cool. Big passive crossover. Okay, so all right. Oh, so this actually has the vapor barrier in place.
So probably that one has it too.
God, I
It
hope
just
so.
one of the other things I want to point in the front door is.
All right, so this is the rear door. This one doesn't actually work, but I'm not honestly, dude. They used a combination of electrical tape and zip ties all over the place to create a hell of a nightmare for us, which really sucks. All right, so anyways, all this crap is coming out, but joy.
Yeah, so same thing. They did the same thing on the rears, This is bad. See?
Oh, it's there. Thank goodness.
Still there. You crossover. It is just.
Oh, it's not even attached to it?
It's just that. Yeah, that's perfect. And then this is a 6x9 factory, right? From the factory.
Yeah.
If you put a 6.5, you still have space in here or in here,
right,
to drill a hole. And that's what they did here. But for some reason, they drill into the bottom
of the door.
Of the door. So
that's cool.
it's like, why?
So they put all this on here thinking that this was necessary, and this is totally not necessary. Like, they needed sound treatment up around, like, this is some cheap bracket that they used, so that's cool. Now, one of the things you guys might notice is, so this is the crossover, like we just saw on the other door, and it has an input and an output, okay? But you'll notice the tweeters aren't attached to this, okay? Oh, and they put some tape over it. That's pretty neat. So the tweeter is not attached to this, so that crossover, depending on how it's made, is not working the way it's supposed to, because it doesn't have the ohm load from the tweeter on it. So when you're using a passive crossover network, that is a true passive crossover network, you need the ohm load from the other speakers in order for it to work properly. If you don't have them, yeah. So here's the tweeter, and so this is the C6 tweeter up here. And the top of there again, these guys are the backstrap masters. And then they made this, which I have no idea what the hell this is. Like, no clue. Now, if you're saying, well, what do you do, Dean? How do you make that work? Well, you mount the crossover inside of the car, maybe in the back by the amplifiers or wherever, and you run the tweeter wire and the mid-range wire forward. Where they tapped into it here, where they grabbed this and screwed this up, this is the mid-range wire, so this goes off into the door. So they could have easily just attached the wire here and then ran the wire up and had the passive crossover and the kick and the dash and the back by the amplifiers, and used it. What they did makes zero sense, other than the fact that they're just hacks and don't have a freaking clue. What the hell is that? Exactly. 2 caps on a wire. It's 2 cap day, baby. Bust a cap in his... So, anyways. So that's pretty cool. So that's... All right. Oh! One more thing. All right, so I had said in video 1, I can't wait to get the amp rack back and find out what they did with the factory hole that comes from the factory subwoofer. Okay, so...
What do you want?
I was trying to find the factory subwoofer. Which, hang on. Here, hold this.
You got it?
Hold that for a second.
Take it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, take it up front. Here it is. He brought us a lot of clothes. All right. Okay, we'll just put it on its clothes. All right, so this is the new Harman factory subwoofer. All right, it's this weird shape. This is a acoustical foam dampener of some kind that goes into here. And then this vents to the outside of the vehicle. Okay, so this is outside, so it's a free air subwoofer. That's why there's no box or anything like that. It's kind of cool. Sounds like Dookie, but it's a free air subwoofer nonetheless, and it vents to the outside of the car. Now, the first one of these we were totally shocked because we were like, what the heck is this thing? This was years ago. And I was like, so I shined a light into the hole to see, like, because it's weird. And if you look there, you can see light, right? Okay, so there's the light. It's infinite baffle. Yes, it is an infinite baffle. Okay, so here is said hole, and here is said water damage from said hole leaking into the car. So this is all soaking wet. What?
They cut the door.
They cut the door?
They cut the door and used a freaking hammer or something.
Okay. All right. So water has been leaking in this car since he's got it done. Yes, drywall screws.
Dude,
Oh my God.
this is like
Why did they do that?
1,
Hold on.
2, 3, 4. So they cut it into 4, and then they hammer it. But why? These people are dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, these people. I mean, at this point, these
Like
guys
seriously,
should be.
just to stop touching cars.
Yes.
Like,
Wow, man. Oh man.
dude, that's bad, man.
The front's okay though, right? Okay. So, anyways, that's. Anyways, did a Florida gator chew on that door? I think so. So, anyways, here's what we got now. We got a big hole in the back of the car that's been leaking water into it. We got a door panel that's all chewed up. There you go, guys. I can't make this stuff up. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the customer did not do this install. So some of you guys are out there and you're like, whoa, man, no, this guy did not. That's why he's paying us to fix it. This is one of those things, the scenario here, I know, because you're saying, how did this happen, right? So he took it to a place that modifies trucks. Because this is a Raptor R, he wanted some things done to it, some lighting and stuff like that. And they had a sign that says, we do car audio. And he was convenient where he worked. And so he's like, cool. They had a pretty good reputation for doing mods, the Google reviews and all those fun things. What he didn't know is that they don't actually do the stereo work there. All the stereo work is done from a third party. So they take the truck, they take it over to someplace else. And I know some of you guys are like blown. You're like, what? Yeah, okay, so that's what happened. So they put this stereo in it. Everyone thought they were doing an amazing job. There again. Put the shop on blast. No one should have issues with spending the money. I don't remember the name of the shop. I got to be honest with you, because stuff like this, I just forget. I have a hard enough time remembering my own name some days. Haley's on here. She'll attest to that. So anyways, all right. Now, some of the things that have been positive, because you need a ray of sunshine. So the power wire is out, and the power wire is not cut into a million pieces. It was run the way it was supposed to run, so we're good there. So we have a fine piece, a $300 piece of zero gauge that is in excellent condition. The fuse holder is in excellent condition. The distribution block back here is crap, though. We are not going to use that because nobody uses maxi fuses. Like, who the hell uses a maxi fuse? Some of you guys are going, I don't even know what a maxi fuse is.
Where's a maxi fuse?
Exactly. So one of the other things they did, hold that up for me for a second.
I'm holding it.
So when I was trying to get to the amp rack, if you'll notice right there, that rusted spot, that is where they cut the seat rail or the seat holder thingy to fit this big dumb amplifier that still got the crap scratched out of it. Like, holy Jesus.
Dude, they spend so much time
Hacking it up?
hogging it up than actually
Doing it the right way?
finding the right way to do it. Like,
Isn't that a maxi pad? It is. So for those who don't know, these are maxi fuses.
and for the people that they actually hire the other company to do the job, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
find somebody else. Because
Yeah, these guys are...
that's bad, man.
I don't know, Weber fan. I don't know. I mean, we have the, we're going to use the, what is that called? T-Spec. We use our T-Spec fuse block.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't we're not using anything.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, that's update number 2 in the can. That's where we're at so far. Oh, and just for those of you guys that were wondering about the grounds that I pulled out, and you're like, oh, I got one other thing I got to show you. So here's the grounds that we pulled out. Now, most people that like use seat bolts and stuff like that, they always sand like the paint and stuff. They did not sand any of the paint here. And I think they used a ring terminal that was too small for the screw, because this screw is like stuck in there. So I got to get that out because I need to fill these holes in. And speaking of filling these holes, I'm going to lift this up. So there's a tray that goes here, and there's some 10s that come out. Now, they did put some silicone in the holes, except for this one, they didn't, because they broke it. And then they just left this exposed to the element. So water comes up through this hole as well, to the bottom of the box. The only nice thing is the box is a JL Stealth box, so it's fiberglass, so we didn't have anything to worry about there. But yeah, now the nice thing is you don't have to worry about it rusting,
Because that's aluminum.
because it's aluminum. So we're all good there. So we'll fix that. Probably put sound treatment over all of those holes, because
they put a 10 in there. See that?
oh, that looks like a nail.
Dude.
Oh, I don't even know what that's for. I don't even want to look. It's just some random, looks like a thumbtack. It's not, it's a bolt. But I think those are for the JL box. Because the JL box has screws and it's supposed to be screwed down into place. And I don't think they screwed it down into place, which is fine. I don't know why you would, but... Okay, so there's update number 2 in the can. On to the next one. Oh. And don't forget, tonight, Jeff Smith is going to be on the show. Live. Don't forget, Jeff Smith tonight. See ya. All right, so where are we at on the 911 F-150? So the driver's door was in the same condition as the passenger door, in that they just had this covered in some really cheap sound treatment.
They didn't have nothing in that.
Oh, this one didn't have anything?
No.
Okay, so there was no sound treatment. So this looked just like this, really?
Yeah.
Where was the crossover at?
What do you mean?
Where was the passive crossover from the mid bass?
Right there.
Oh, it was just like before? Okay. All right, so they did that door and that door, but they didn't do this door. Did they do this door?
They did that door, yeah.
Okay. So
They had 3 doors, and apparently they ran out of it, so it's like, okay, never mind.
well, that makes sense. All right, so they did crappy sound treatment on 3 of the 4 doors.
Mm-hmm.
And it just peeled right off, which is even more exciting.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I can tell you this is not peeling off. So this is Fernando, so we're going back in and we're doing sound treatment. So he's got this one done here, because, yeah, and while he was here, I haven't fixed this one yet. However, I have fixed the main harness here. So this is all soldered back together and retaped. One of the things that you have to do that makes your life easier is relocate this down. So you just move it down to this piece of metal here instead of this piece of metal, and that makes it flush with the seat. I don't know why the factory just didn't do that in the first place. And then the harness that's here gets moved down to here, and you untape it from this, which is the A to B harness, and it just goes on its own. We'll add a couple zip ties here so that it follows this main seat one. This door passenger is just as screwed up as that one was, or sorry, this rear passenger, driver's side passenger. Anyways, this one, driver's side. So we'll have to bend this back out. I think the plan right now is to try to get it as flat as possible, and then we're going to cover this with sound treatment just in case, because obviously it's going to be impossible to get it perfectly flat. So we'll put it with sound treatment just so when we put the speaker back on, it pulls in nice and tight, and it seals it up so it's not going to leak. Speaking of leaks, I haven't had time to get to that yet because I've been soldering up all of these wires. I soldered up this one here. We saw where this was cut, so this is now back to factory. Use the same tape, so you can't even tell that we fixed that. The green, because we have to put green, we actually have green tape for fixing the green harness. On the passenger side, yeah, Gator ate all that door. I know, man. Gator was hungry. Gator. On the passenger side, the main harness here is actually black. So once we fixed that, it was easy enough to just recover it in black tape so it looks as close to the way it's supposed to be. The funny part that Fernando found was, so the company that did the mods, that's that braided loom there. So like their harnesses were all braided, because he was like, man, I wonder about all the modifications that they did. And I was like, well, it was a different company and they probably had T harnesses. And they had T harnesses. Okay, speaking of T harnesses, as you saw, there's one T harness here plugged in. Hang on. So there's this T harness here is plugged in. This is the harness we are going to use to modify the the Zen A to B harness, because their harness, I don't like it. It's kind of cheap, just this thing right here. This is the speaker harness, and so what we'll do is we'll take the pack harness and we'll modify. So the pack harness is this guy right here, which is the APH FDO2. This is a BO harness. So this will modify this harness and allow us to get the speakers that are back at the factory amplifier. Now, not all the speakers are at the factory amplifier in the unleashed system. The only speaker wires that are back here are the 2 dash speakers and the 2 front door speakers. The rear doors and the tweeters are actually up in the radio. Okay, so for that, we'll be using this harness, which is the LPH FD31. That is the same harness we use when we do a Bronco or we do non-amplified F-150, because essentially those same wires are what we need. So Ford, to make the amplifier smaller and more affordable, has repurposed deck power. Now I know what you're saying, wait, how does that work? So how it works is the radio creates the signal, it goes back to the amplifier over A to B. The A to B network now in turn talks to that amplifier and repurposes those speakers. So yay. So it's not like they're using deck power. They are using deck power, but they're repurposed and going through the DSP. It's ridiculous how they did it, but doesn't matter. We have T harnesses, so we can plug everything in and make it nice, neat, and factory, which is what we want. Now they've cut all the harnesses as expected on here, so we'll just be soldering on our wires and attaching them. It's what it is. It's not the end of the world. And that's it. Right now I just validated all of the wiring for the harnesses, because even though those Ford harnesses, it's not what it's intended for. Now, if you buy the Pack Amp Pro A to B for these vehicles, all those harnesses are included in the box. The Zen modules don't have that, and the iData interface only has them for the back. It doesn't have it for the front. So if you get an iData harness and you want to use a T harness, you can use that Pack harness for the front to get your speaker wires. This is the only car on the schedule for the next 3 days. So, yeah. Is this the original shop in Clearwater? Yep, that's us. So to get the, okay, so a lot of people have never, so the radio in an F-150 is this guy right here, okay? Right now it's unscrewed. There's 4 screws that hold it into place. This is the main harness. It sits here behind this air conditioner, so you do have to pull this out. So there's 2 screws that are here that hold this top center channel piece in. So you pop off the grill for the center channel, you pull those 2 screws, this whole piece pops up. The only thing you gotta do is loosen this front bezel. And then there's a piece of metal that goes here with 4 screws that hold the radius. There's 10 screws and you can get to this. But that's as far as you have to go. You don't have to mess with pulling the screen or any other part of the dash out, which is really nice because nobody wants to do that. All right, get my cloth back up over the monitor. You know, gotta make sure it's safe. You got anything else? Angry, he's angry. Earlier we said there was a remote turn-on wire ran, which was just an accessory wire. They had tapped the fuse box. I'm thinking they did that because their first installation, the first go around with the installation, whatever they were using wasn't turning on. So we had to validate to make sure that the Zen module actually created a remote turn on, and it does, which is like, so that tells us when they went to install the Zen module, they didn't bother to fix the installation and do it the right. I know, big surprise, but that's probably why he had a popping noise, because he wasn't using the right remote turn-ons, and the sequence of how things need to turn on weren't happening the way they're supposed to.
No way.
I know, it's pretty crazy.
What?
What?
You're
what
crazy, dude.
I love the red. This red.
Oh, by the way, don't forget, guys, this show is brought to you by...
Hold on. Wait.
By the way, this show is brought to you by MorelHiFi.com. Yes, MorelHiFi.com. Remember that name.
Yeah?
It's gonna be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. So hold that thought when we're talking about awesome. So for speakers in this, just in case you didn't know, he is getting a set of Fernando's favorite, which is the Hybrid 63s.
Yeah.
So this is what's going in the car, because he wants something a little bit more lifelike, a little bit more lifelike, more mellow, more exciting. He's not like all into that, like, rip my ears off and call me Sally. But here's the really cool thing. Morel just got off, actually earlier between videos, we had a phone call with them, we had a meeting. They signed up again to be your brought to you by, so they're making this possible for you. So, but one of the cool things is we just found out what's coming out for 2025.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Let me tell you something.
Over the next 8 months, this is Morel's 50th anniversary this year.
That's it, really?
Yeah, they turned 50, because that was 45. That was 5 years ago.
Holy boy.
I know. So they are turning 50 this year. I can relate. I did that a couple years ago. It sounds way cooler than it is. But for a manufacturer, being in business for 50 years is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So Morel three-way front stage and all through. Oh, they're very, very good. Very good. So we got some new speakers coming. So we have the new Census coming.
Yes.
Which we're really excited about because I'm dying to get my hands on them. Mm-hmm. And then we have another line of speakers coming that I'm not even going to mention because I can't wait till they get here. Because I was surprised. I didn't even know they were redoing these. I was like, oh my God, no kidding. And then the stuff we can't talk about, Morel has lost their minds. Mm-hmm. They are pulling out all the stops for the 50th anniversary. All I could say is if you're a Morel fan, start saving money now.
Yeah.
Literally, start saving money now, okay? And not like a little.
It's gonna be huge, people. Huge.
5 seems like one of. I know, it just goes by in a blink. Stinger. No. Kenwood. Sorry.
1057.
I was. Yeah.
1057.
Yes,
SR,
that.
Sure.
Do that. Boom. Drop. No. So lots of stuff happening this year with Morale. Stay tuned, like everybody else. It's cool. They signed back up, so you guys get to go on the journey, which is pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Morale, as always. Make sure you guys head over to moralehifi.com, check this stuff out. Stay attention, bookmark it, so you can go check out the new stuff as it comes out. Because more than likely, it'll be on the website before they tell us about it. I mean, it just kind of happens that way. So stay tuned. Later this couple months, or next month, later this month, we'll see some census, see what that's all about. Pretty excited about that. But, so, part 3. Just wanted to update you on what's going on because I know you guys are on pins and needles wanting to see what's happening for this. So we've gotten over the hump for the most part. We're almost done fixing all of the headaches.
Yeah.
So once we get those rear doors straightened out, we'll come back in a little bit and kind of fill you guys in on what's happening. As always, Dean, on heat certs, how much smaller of a drill? So I go... so here's the funny thing. All the thermal certs are metric, right? Which is like M3, M5, M6. You know how hard it is to buy a set of metric drill bits here in the US? Like, if you guys have like a link to some, let me know. Because otherwise you got to buy like a set of engineering drill bits from like the cheap tool store that has every size known to man.
Yeah.
But normally what I'll do is when you're looking at a thermal nut cert, I buy the kind that has a lip on it. And I try to make... trying to see if I got a picture. I try to make my drill bit that size. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just definitely want it smaller than the hole because it'll melt its way in. But hang on. Let's see if we can use Apple's awesome. So, all right. Let's see if it'll focus. Focus. Why isn't it focused? All right. So you see that little lip right there. I take a set of calipers and measure that. Ooh, there we go. I measure that lip right there. And I try to make it about that size or smaller. So, there you go. There's the answer to that. And there'll definitely be some thermal certs going on this at some point. But for right now, that's where we're at. That's what we got. You guys go forth. Have a wonderful day. And we'll check back in. Don't forget, tonight, Jeff Smith in the house.
Here?
Yes, we're going to be talking Helix. The new Helix DSP software is out. Jeff is going to tell us all about it, so make sure to tune in tonight at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll put a link in YouTube and all those things so you guys can find it. Yeah. Stay tuned. We're back. It's a new year. We got news Friday. We got show Saturday. I'm with Hi-Fi on Thursday. Videos start back. Yeah. Welcome to the new year.
Back to the regular schedule.
It's 6:30 Eastern Standard Time is the live show tonight on Facebook and Instagram. We simulcast, so it'll be fun. You guys have a great day. Bye. Good day, everyone. Fernando, how you doing?
Oh, wonderful. Not as good as you.
Shut up. My gosh. All right, so this is day 2 of the Ford Raptor R 911. So we are going to update you guys on what we got finished yesterday. Of course, if you're not familiar with what happened yesterday in this poor vehicle, go watch yesterday's or wait until Monday, in which case you can watch the whole thing in one long video. So this is a 911 that we're doing. Yesterday, we took you on a journey through all of the heartache and things that we found, and today we're going to kind of fill you in on this morning. We'll fill you on what the journey is. What's up, Johnny? All right, so to get you up to date on a couple of things. First things first, hopefully you got to watch Jeff Smith's last night on the YouTube show. If you didn't, go check it out. If you're interested in Helix at all, he touched a lot on how to use their input mixer to set up virtual channels. He explained a lot of it. It was fantastic. I will say this, if I seemed a bit out of it or short, there was a reason for it. So yesterday, right before the show started, my laser died. It's dead. So that kind of kicked us in the balls as far as how the night went, because the mood was very sour. So if anybody was like, Dean seems a little off, that would be why. I apologize. But the laser died yesterday and it's still dead, which is gonna suck. So here's, yeah, it sucks. Anyways, let's keep going on what we've done on the truck, and we'll kind of circle back around to what that means for us today. First things first, Fernando has added the appropriate sound treatment to this area of the door, along with the fast ring inside. The piece that normally goes here will be on the bracket that he is working on right now. So this is now sound treated. So we've done this, we did this. He, I think, just finished the door panel itself. So this has, you know, the sound treatment on it to keep this in check.
It has everything. We actually have.
Yeah, we peel this off. Full sheet.
Full sheet. Oh,
yep. So there you
treatment.
go. Try to make that a lot more rigid. He's working on the panel that we've made. The grill will come off before it goes in. It's just in there because it's Morel. They make it convenient that way. Rear fast ring, foam around the backside. This bracket, let's take a look at it all by itself. So this is what we were using, which is perfectly fine for a normal speaker. This is not a normal speaker. This is a much higher end speaker because it is a Morel. It is the Hybrid 63 three-way set. Way to go, Morel. Yay! So this is the bracket here. ABS base, 1/4-inch ABS base, attached to two pieces of 1/2-inch Centra, also called blown PVC, screwed together, tapered on the back side. The speaker mounts in here nice and flush. Actually, it goes in a little bit. This adds a protective layer over it. This will attach to the door. This hole is for the wire to run through, something Fernando talked about yesterday. So this is going to be for the passenger door. This is the factory speaker he still had them, so that was actually worked out really well. We were able to get our measurements just right, and that's that foam that Fernando is adding to that so that it will foam up just like the factory does. So this puts our speaker at the same depth as the factory speaker. And as you can see from the side, the factory speaker has some elevation to it before this attaches. We wanted to create the same experience with our bracket, so this is what we came up with. Obviously, we've made hundreds of these brackets before, but each one is always a little bit fun and trying to, you know, modify and come up with the best way to do it. Now, for the dash, hold on. So that cover is there, not to keep it a secret from you guys, but just because we were working on the driver's side and we have to do some grinding and we didn't want to get any of the dust into that. And so here is the dash speaker mounted into place. This is their mid-range. This is not a drop-in. This is highly modified to get this into here. Okay, so naturally the laser broke yesterday when we were cutting our templates for that speaker. So we were cutting some. Yep. So this is our cardboard template we were drawing in to figure out how to make it. So this was a cardboard cutout. So this was the last thing that the laser cut yesterday before it died.
Save it.
And also, to answer your question, don't use it. Okay, so you do realize that the factory is using open cell foam too? It is open cell. It's like that for a reason. Anyways, so what we had to do is come up with plan B. So this is a 3D printed version of our panel. This is actually a thicker version. This is an 8mm, and we wanted a 6mm. I think we ended up at 6mm. This is all solid infill, and then we made them out of ABS instead of PLA. We have a bunch of ABS. I know there's better stuff now, but I'd already bought a bunch of ABS and I've had it sitting here, and it's like, let's just use it and get rid of it. So made those panels, so it was easy enough to convert our file from what we were going to do with the laser to this. Now, here's the deal. Doing it on this takes, because of how much infill I put in this and how rigid it is, this took about an hour to print with ABS. On PLA, it was like 25 minutes. on a laser would have taken a minute and a half. So I'm heartbroken. Yes, okay, so I know I preach having two of everything, and this is where the rub is. I almost bought another laser earlier this year, and I opted out of doing that because I replaced all the 3D printers. So now we have 3 3D printers. The goal was to go back this year and buy another laser, but keep in mind how expensive a laser is. Having 2 of them was... what I was going to do is put one at home and one here. So we did order a new laser last night, so... because I don't know how long it's going to take to get this one repaired. And I'll probably have to send it back and all this other horse. So I ordered a brand new laser last night. Ouch. It's pretty much how that goes. So we'll get a new one here shortly. Hopefully. Probably won't be shortly because you couldn't expedite the shipping, which really sucked. So it'll be what it is. Don't sideways escape into the door panel using an open cell foam. Okay, so here's the thing you have to keep in mind, and actually there's been some studies done by some of our friends in the business, and you're correct. Closed cell foam is in most cases a far superior way to do it, especially on the backside where it could get moisture in it. Even though the open cell foam, we've done a lot of testing underneath water. It takes a lot of sustained water in order for it to get water. But the one thing that you have to keep in mind is the grill is the natural limiter of the speaker. So when the air is trying to get through here, you don't want to make it so suction to this that you put a bunch of back pressure on the cone. So by using an open cell foam, there again, this is the conversation I had. By using the open cell foam, it will make a nice seal, but it'll also be enough to where if you're at extreme conditions and you're not going to screw up the cone because of the back pressure. So you will have some way for it to escape at higher volumes. And at those volumes where you're going to be doing that, more than likely you're not going to notice that. So we're kind of, it's one of those things where you're splitting hairs. Okay. So I don't know. There again, that's the theory how it was explained to me. I'm explaining it to you that way. And it kind of makes sense. It does. So anyways, you just want a gap. Maybe not. I don't care. All right. So moving on. So the next step on this is, also we have the cover is now put in place. So this is a 1/4 inch piece of material that has been designed to fit like the factory, cover the factory hole. On the material itself is weather stripping, so that it makes a really nice seal. And then this is obviously Roadkill Ultimate. Just kind of worked out that the logo ended up there, stuck into place so that this can come off if it needed to, but we're not going to drill holes or anything like that. So this blocks off that hole there, so no longer will water get in. And then yesterday, Fernando came in and filled in all the holes that were here. And then he filled all of these underneath the seats as well, in case this one was broken, if you remember, but they put silicone in here. So we just covered them anyways. So they're all done and life is great.
We went and actually reattached the factory plugs.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Hold on.
Because they cut the harnesses.
So turns out he had the factory speakers in the back because we're putting the factory speakers back here, which we'll take a look at that because we fixed that. So we were able to put the factory plugs back on.
Yeah. I put a grommet easier.
Yeah, plastic on plastic.
It's just to make it.
I know it looks better. I know. I'm not gonna.
It's
for your personal satisfaction.
It's for my OCD.
Oh gosh, shut up. All right.
Anyway.
So we bent the door panel back together as best as we could, and then we covered it in sound treatment so that it's at least as flat as we can do it. We retached the factory plug back in. We found 4 of the factory screws because luckily it's a 7mm and we have tons of those from. So
it's only 3 for this.
Yeah. So we'll screw this back in.
Yeah.
And then this will be done. This is all that the rear is going to get. We're just putting the factories back in so we can have some rear sound. So here's this.
This is already done.
So there's our Morel in the door. Is that a Morel?
That's a Morel.
Which Morel is it?
It's a Morel hybrid. And if you want to see the specifications on that specific speaker, the component or the three-way set, go to morelhifi.com. morelhifi.com, that's where the place that you can find this and other more.
Which Morel is this one?
This is the hybrid.
Ooh, we got new ones coming out, that are just starting to ship.
We have new speakers coming.
Census.
We have a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited.
Stay tuned. morelhifi.com. Here on Instagram, Morel_America, and on Facebook, Morel America Inc. Go there because you're gonna like that.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be interesting to see how your Skyline looks using the Ray-Ban glasses. The ones with the cameras. Mm-hmm. I've always been kind of curious about those myself. Some people say I don't know. Let me know. I'd love to see some footage on it. Okay, so that's where we're at on this. We have a lot more to go. So we have 6 of the 8 speakers figured out, and we're working on getting the sound treatment in. So next up, we'll check when we come back. We'll check out the progress on the tweeters, which is the thing that I've been dreading because now that the laser died, I don't have my magic tool is dead. So the tweeters are going to be next, along with building the amp rack and starting to figure out how we're going to fit the Arc Audio Blackbird and his JL Audio 1001 back there. And then start getting these door panels back on and moving some of the parts out of the install bay back into the car. So that's where we're at. That's what we got. Both of the dash speakers are in. Let me show you the driver's side so that you can get a look at that. So there's that one all up in place.
Beautiful.
So now I can put I'm gonna put the piece back in to cover those because we don't need to go back to that for anything. That's it. That's where we're at. That's what's happening here on this beautiful day 2 of the rescue 911 of the
Raptor.
Yeah. Okay. You guys have a wonderful day. See you later. You tired?
I'm tired.
Don't be so tired.
Yeah. Trying not to. I've been working for 24 hours in here. You don't let me go yesterday, so you gotta be working in here. Blah, blah, blah.
Dude, you left before I did.
I did?
Yes.
Yes, I did. I say. Deuces, dude.
Because I was gonna go live after you left, and I go. I gotta go home because I got work to do.
Dude.
But
it was like 5:59.
It was not 5:59. It was like 6:20.
See, overtime.
Yeah, totally overtime. Yeah, agreed. All right, so this is the last of this. Okay, we're to the point now where everything is moving along good. Fernando is finishing up the fuse holder mount here underneath the hood.
Well, the reason I put it here is because they have so much stuff in here.
Yeah.
From the car itself, so
yeah,
I want to make it out of whatever they're gonna service.
Out of the way.
Yeah, in this one, if it rains and drops, I raise the power wire and the fuse, so just in case, still.
Oh, that's what I made all those pieces for, was to raise everything up?
Yeah.
Ah.
So.
Very nice. Okay. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. So he's finishing that up. I just got done with the amp rack. So this is the amp rack that is going to go behind the seat. So this is the JL 1000, and if you guys remember from day 1, this is the cover for it, and it's just trashed. And so 2 things. One, it's a JL amplifier and an Arc Audio amplifier, and in my mind that immediately throws things off in my head because I can't. Yeah. So we decided to make this cover here. And so the R, in case you're wondering, it's an R, Raptor R. So we wanted.
For Roberto?
It's for Roberto. and so we wanted it to match. So we made this cover, and we were debating between doing shiny or flat, and Fernando's like, let's do shiny because everything on the truck is shiny. So brand mix up, I know. So this now doesn't look like a JL Audio amp, it just looks like an amp. So because we took the logo off and we added the cool Raptor to it, so this will take care of that. Plus it's not all scratched up, so that solved that.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's talk about that. Lance asked the question about the laser. And so before I answer that, is there any point to a 4-way or 5-way setup? Should we have to do that for better output? Okay, so here's the big misconception. Most of the time, you're either doing a 3-way or a 4-way setup. Now your mind's blown. So what I mean by that is tweeter, mid-bass, subwoofer. That is a 4-way setup. So when you have a tweeter, a mid, and a subwoofer, that is a 3-way setup. So technically, if you have a 3-way up front and a sub in the back, that's a 4-way setup. So you probably already have a 4-way setup. Now, there are some people not very many, that will do a tweeter, mid-range, another mid-range, or a different tweeter. So like when we were at World Finals, if they had some form of a ribbon or electrostatic or planar style tweeter, they would have typically another tweeter with that to pick up the area where those don't do so well. So they'd have 2 sets of tweeters, 2 different types of tweeters. So that would technically be a 5-way setup. Okay, so that answers that. Now, back to Lance's question, the Glowforge. Okay, so Glowforge is... All right, so basically what happened is Glowforge decided to push an update. And in that update, they decided to brick half of the country's Glowforges yesterday. Now, Fernando, didn't you have to pick up your kid today?
Oh! No.
Okay. So anyways, yesterday Fernando went to pick up Junior. Yeah. And while he was waiting in line, he spent 45 minutes on the Glowforge forums. For one, we were trying to figure out how we were going to get this thing repaired. And as it turns out, everyone was complaining about the fact that their Glowforges were all dead. And there was, they pushed another update that magically fixed it, even though... So the long and short of it is, Glowforge decided to screw everybody up and then try to fix it, not really do a good job about telling everyone, hey, this might happen, do this, and you can get it working again. And so there's people that lost lots of money yesterday, myself being one of them, because I just bought a new unit that doesn't involve connecting to the internet. So good news is it works, so we'll be able to use it until we get our new unit that is going to replace it. Because that was too scary yesterday, not having the tool and not being able to use it. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how you can do this without a laser. We were way too vested in it. Now, we found this out at about 5 o'clock last night. So good news is we got it working. We were able to cut the top for this, which is cool. And of course, make those pieces for Fernando. The other good news is when we left you, we were getting into the inside of the vehicle. We had just gotten the dash speakers in. We had 3D printed these cool brackets for them out of ABS, not the green ones. We have high temp ABS. So we had done these brackets, and we were moving on to the tweeter. And I guess I'd had enough torture. The hybrid tweeter that comes in the set is a perfect fit for the Ford F-150 brackets. So literally, and he had the brackets, even though, which we got to talk about the tweeters some more. So we took out the tweeters that they put in, which I'm going to show you because there's a funny thing there. And we grabbed the factory brackets that he brought, thankfully, and we were able to snap the Morel tweeter, literally popped into place, and went click, click. There's 3 clicks, clicked right in. And I was like, oh my God, yes. So that kind of saved the day yesterday. The Morels snapped right into place into this. which is great because of the amount of work we had to put to get the dash one in. So it was kind of a nice trade-off. Now, let's talk about the tweeters that were in there. Originally, they were supposed to be, he told us, and the boxes correspond with the fact he's supposed to have JLC6 tweeters in the dash. And so I took this out, and I couldn't see this at the time because this was the one we were looking at, and it's covered with this wonderful bracket. And this is, remember, it had these weird crossovers on it for some dumb reason. But as it turns out, this is what is in the dash. He has a Bema speaker in the dash. Now, he didn't know he had this. And for those of you that are familiar with Bema, this is supposed to look like a little Hershey's Kiss. That's what that is supposed to look like. Clearly, that does not look like a little Hershey's Kiss. They ground the crap out of that. As you can see, there's also debris inside the tweeter, and the tweeter is chipped and scratched. And this one is the same. So it's like they just found these tweeters laying around somewhere and jammed them in there.
Oh wow!
Yeah. This is the brackets that these are the two pieces of metal they were using to hold this one in. They didn't even use a whole piece of backstrap, which is kind of cool. The other cool thing is like this piece is removable via this little nut here, and there was no nut on the back of it, so this was just kind of like pressed up against and rattling around. So yeah, this is what we took out of this. So this is the dash speaker. Okay, you'll notice the clip is missing. I don't like doing this, but in this case, we can totally reuse it. We can solder it back on if we need to. But we removed the clip from here because they do not have the clips for the dashes yet. So we're repurposing the factory clips in the dash because the wire is super tight, and he's got a tinted front windshield. So yeah, I'll risk some $5 speakers that I can rebuild if I need to. Because I can put a rivet in it, and I can solder the two tinsel leads back on, and they can go right back in instead of cutting the wire. So that's what we ended up doing on the top, because there is no plugs for them yet. Now everyone has to have plugs, and it's fine. I'm fine with it. The tweeter's plugged right back in. So yeah, so there's that. So I'll go back into the shop. No wonder the guy hates the tweeters. Yeah, I know, right? It's very strange. All right, so let me go back here. Dean, where can I get Moscone Gladiator? If it's available, call Paul. Call Paul, 727-216-6170. He'll get it for you. Is it possible to achieve theater-like surround effect? Actually, yes, it is. Yep, the DSP or DSP amplifier has to have an up mixer in it that does rear surround effect. Fortunately for us, he's going with the Arc Audio Blackbird, and it has that feature built into it. That is why we went ahead and kept the factory rear speakers and didn't put any money into them, because for one, we don't care, and two, we're going to do that effect to them, so it band passes the channel. It adds some cool DSP magic upmixing stuff to it, and it sounds really cool. So depending on the DSP you have, yes, Arc has it for sure. You should ask Glowforge for a discount on the new unit. So I'm not buying a Glowforge as a new unit. The Glowforge is gone. I mean, it's going to stay here for a while, and then it'll find a new home. And we'll just move away from it. It's been the Glowforge has been a great laser. I love it. It's a part of us. It's a great employee. However, yesterday it did some really bad things that scared the crap out of me, because we use it so much, and it's such an. It took the day off and didn't call. Yeah, it's exactly what happened. And it was like a dumpster fire. So it's just scary. So and like you guys know, I want to have two of everything. So now we'll have two lasers, and that'll just solve the problem, and we won't run into it. I'll probably take it home and just have it there. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out. Right now, it's just making sure we get the new one. So you'll have an extra laser after all. Exactly. It's not what I wanted to do. Trust me. It's a very expensive. It's a very expensive thing. So, no call, no show. Yeah. Do Forza series have a surround effect? We can achieve it. I think the Forza software does have an up mixer for the rear. You know who would know that? Lance, who's in the chat. He would probably know that better than me because he's way more familiar with the software than I am. But I believe it does have some form of a rear up mixer. What kind of DSP is that again? It is an ARC Audio. So any ARC Audio DSP, but the amplifier is the Blackbird. So this is the Blackbird, but they have the PSM Pro. There's a bunch of them. So like that's the PSM Pro. That's probably the smallest one. That's a 6 to 8 DSP that you can get that has that feature built into it. But anything ARC Audio, any DSP made by ARC will have that. And it's super easy to use. We have a video up on Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo clip showing how to set it up. All right, so what is left to do in the Ford? First thing is Fernando's finishing up the power wire, which is these wires here. So my next job is to get these prepped and ready to go in. These are the wires that are going to plug into the into the A to B module. That is located behind our amp rack. So this will go in, screw into place. We added this guy here. This is another factory mount point that we're going to screw in. So that'll hold it while it's over here with that heavier amplifier, which is really cool. And that's it. That's what we got. All the speakers are now in. The tweeters went in, like I said, super easy. So it's just running some wire and, of course, connecting to our plug behind the factory radio for the front and rear. So tweeters and rear are behind the radio, and the amplifier has front doors and dashes. So, yay. All right, so it is 4 o'clock. We got like 2 hours left to get this in.
What?
And hooked up and probably turned on. I might stay and tune it tonight. Otherwise, I'll come in first thing in the morning and we'll tune it, make it sound good. But that's where we're at. So next video will be the final thing. Will be the final run on this bad boy and let you guys see what it looks like. And then, of course, if you want to go back to Monday, you can see the before and then you'll see the after. So thank you guys so much for playing along with us. I'm going to let you go get on with your day. What is today, Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So tomorrow's Thursday. It's been a rough week, guys. I'm not going to lie. This has been, stuff just seems like it's falling apart around me.
But
I mean, hold on. Before you say that, I know. So even yesterday, I don't know what it is. This is like 2025 just wants to kick me in the balls. So I went to use our router bit yesterday, and it totally blew off one of the router bits. It really sucks because it's like $100 router bit, but look what it did to that. Oh man, it totally sucks. So there's a $100 router bit trashed. It's like ridiculous. Although on the upside though, if we want to look on the positive, one of the things that we do have that's a positive, because you never went on a positive, we're going to be talking about Morel, is that we got these. So these are our streamers, so that we can do multicam on the show. We had been doing that. We didn't do much of it last year because this is the streamer that we had, and it died. So we were doing stuff with the phone, and we used that a couple times, and it worked kind of, and it was just ticking me off. So I was like, no, we need to buy a streamer. So that came in today, and we got some LEDs for a new display we're building over at the shop. So hopefully next week we'll be able to take you over there and show you that, which is really cool. But before I end the show, Fernando, make it quick.
Hey, no, you have to go to Facebook.
Why?
Because right now they just released a brand new product.
What did they release? Who released it?
Morel.
Oh, did they?
So you gotta go to Morel America Inc.
Okay.
And as soon as you like that page, it pops all the product that they release. So you have to go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. There you go. Thank you, Morel. Question somebody asked, will the DSP software be different? The DSP software is different. Fortunately, it's an X tool, and I've used the X tool a couple times over at Mobile Solutions. Brian sells the X tools, so you can buy an X tool laser through Mobile Solutions website. And I've used it. It's fantastic. It's very similar to the Glowforge, just it has a lot more adjustments you can do. It's actually really cool software. You can download. I use their software to round trip some of the adjustments I do, just because there's a lot of cool things you can do with their software that you can't do in some of the other apps we use. So that's really cool. And then this is the Raptor R cover. And we're going to end it right there. You guys have a great day. So the joys of losing your hair is you get bald spots on the window, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, those are all mine, but I mean...
I'm like, what?
You know.
Hey, we should offer detailing. Just please call 1-800 Fernando clean your car.
Yeah. Good day, everyone. Okay, so the Raptor R is done. We ran behind because of the laser issues we had. Luckily, we were able to get that straightened out. So we got kicked back. And then one of the other things that we ran into on this that we're going to talk about that set us back a couple, I don't know, I had another hour onto this. But one, I had to go quote some job next door. But let's kind of go through the system, and we'll talk about some of the before and after. Hello from Texas. Oh, geez. That sucks. So let's go through the whole thing. So obviously this started on Monday with a 911. And so today it's leaving. Probably why we're doing this, the customer is going to be here to pick it up. So we're going to kind of bang through this. All right. So what he had originally was some as it turns out. Now, what he thought he had was JL C6's mid-bass and a C6 tweeter, factory in the dash, not hooked up to anything. What it turned out being was a C6 mid-bass with a crossover on just the mid-bass, which is wrong, and a set of Bema tweeters that they made some weird concoction crossover for, and they destroyed the tweeters. That was the front stage. The rear stage was... Oh, hang on. The rear stage was another set of C6 components, but they made a weird bracket to mount it as a coaxial. On that side of the car, they screwed the tweeter to the door grill on the inside. On this side of the car, we never actually showed you, but they took two bolts and a piece of backstrap and put it over the top of the speaker and screwed the tweeter to it that way. So they were two totally different mounts. Now, they put some sound treatment over the plastics on all three of these doors, not on that door. We took all that off and put our sound treatment on it. They cut this, so we had to bend this all back in. We resoldered in all the connectors, and we repaired all of the damage that was done in the back here to the factory assembly. Now, they made some carpeted board... Oh, you got hit on lock. Hang on. Fernando was trying to steal the car. Okay, back to the back here. So they made some carpeted board, took out all the factory stuff, left the big hole from the factory behind here. This amplifier was further down, and it was getting all scratched up, basically getting destroyed. So...
Actually...
Yeah, and then they had part of the factory amplifier bracket still here in conjunction with their amp rack. Looked trash. So, underneath the seat is the JL stealth box. Don't forget, we still got to put that jack into place behind that seat. So, all of that got taken out and redone. They ran speaker wires, cut harnesses everywhere in the car. It was great. So day one was taking all that stuff out and soldering all the harnesses back together again. There was a lot more damage than we had anticipated. The next day was trying to get all the speakers mounted in, and that's the day our laser decided, Glowforge decided to break everyone's lasers. So good on them for that. So we ended up using the 3D printers. They saved the day. Life is great there. There was no speakers in the dash. The factories were still there, hooked up to nothing. I'm going to pull this out. Okay. And, ooh, that was neat. Lassoed the seatbelt. And so we made custom brackets to mount the Morel Hybrid 63s. What speakers?
hybrids, 63s.
From
From the box. You opened the box and came out from the box. Yeah.
Where can they find information
You
on
can
this?
find information on MorelleHiFi.com.
Oh, okay.
That's the place that you can get you Morel hybrids or any Morel, whatever you want. MorelleHiFi.com.
Do you love these?
I loved it. These ones are my favorites.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Anyways, we put the mid-range, dome mid-range up in the dash with a custom 3D printed bracket out of ABS up into the top, which was fantastic. This is actually the first vehicle that we got to use the 3D printer to make speaker brackets on. We've been using it to make toys. So, like, we were straight up Santas with our 3D printers this season. So we made everybody toys. Anyways, so we made a new amp rack in the back here. Made new brackets for the doors, sound treatment, fast rings, put the factories in the rear. So these are the factories. We took out the C6, put the factory back in. And some of you are going, why would you do that? Well, you had a nice pair of C6. Because for one, he's going to sell all that stuff and try to recoup some of the money from the initial investment. The second thing is, we really don't need a great speaker back here. The nice thing about the Arc Audio Blackbird is it has an up mixer with rear effect, which is all we need it to do, is make some sound in the back, and it sounds fantastic. It makes the system so much louder. It's so cool. So we can do that with anything. It really doesn't matter. How does the router setup look? And the router. So the table is done, but we haven't, because of we used all our spare time, so we're not there yet. We'll talk more about that later. Custom router amp plate. So yes, so we made a new amp rack. So the JL audio piece that goes here was destroyed, and so because we got the laser to work again, we decided to make the custom Raptor R logo to go over, so the amplifier looks snazzy, it looked good, and you can't tell it's a JL amplifier because obviously we have an ARC, we have a JL. We want it to have, we want to be able to fold up a seat and someone go, oh, you have two different. No, this way it looked, oh wow, what is that? So that was the kind of the effect we were going for. We used the red loom to accentuate it and just make it look really nice. Now, the Zen module is located on the back of this because there's some room here and you can kind of almost see the wiring, like the blue USB. Anyways, that's the way it goes. There's a split in the carpet here, and then it all mounts into the back here. All right, so on the Zen module, most of these adapters, whether it be Zen, PAC, we haven't done iData, I don't know. For some reason, there's always noise, whether it be floor noise, engine noise, out of the RCAs. They basically suck. The reason why we try to keep the RCAs is so that your sensors come out of the 4 speaker corners. So like your rear sensors come out of the rear speakers, your front sensors come out of the front sensors. Stop. Okay, we're never doing it again. I don't care. It's gonna be sensors out of left, sensors out of right. And then we got done with it. Fernando did some testing while I was over next door, and he's like, dude, we got tons of floor noise, we got engine noise, this totally sucks. And I was like, oh my God. So default to Toslink. This is probably the only time I didn't just run a Toslink cable just because I normally do for some reason. I don't know why. I just didn't do it on this one. So
shame on you, bro.
I know, I'm an idiot. So we took all of that RCA section out, put in a Toslink cable. Holy it is. I mean, when I'm telling you it's 100% better, Fernando, how much?
Lying.
How much better was the Toslink cable?
I mean, you can right away, as soon as we
switch the two.
We switch the two, and you gotta make sure you gotta go into the program,
the Zen module settings,
module to adjust your chimes and everything.
Turn on non-fade.
The whole thing,
it was ridiculous.
Yes, it was so nice.
It was crazy. So, with that being said, so now we're running this Toslink out of the Zen, and it's 100% better. I'm just, you know what, I've been pussyfooting around with this, and I try to be nice. I'm like, hey, we're gonna no more. I'm never doing it again. Everything is just gonna be Toslink.
God.
I'm over trying to save a feature that is stupid. So, anyways, that's the amp rack. It's our ABS amp rack that we make. Bolted it into place there's a factory bolt screw here. We made a bracket to do that. 2 factory screws here went in place. There was a bunch of open holes. We covered all those. We made a plate cover for the back there. These are the factory speakers, I've said, so we didn't have to worry about that. Made custom brackets for here, custom brackets for the top. The tweeters saved the day, thank God, because all the problems we were having with the laser. As it turns out, the Morel hybrid tweeter snaps into the factory mount, and he just happened to have them in a box in the back, which was fantastic. So we were able to snap those into place, which is cool. Put some acoustic foam on the back of it that we like to do. Just kind of seals up the back area there. And Fernando made an awesome Fernando fancy fuse holder underneath the hood. Let me show you that, just because I know you guys like to see that.
Oh, you want me to open it?
Yeah. And then here it is. So this is it here. If you saw it yesterday, there was a screw sticking up. Hated it. So we changed that whole assembly last night before we left, because it really was driving me crazy. He was trying to, and I was like, nah. So we put a not thermal, just put a regular nutsert in there, put the screw in. And there we go. We have the bracket. These are lifted off of here, so there's risers on set, so if like the rain comes down or water comes down and this doesn't work, the water will just sheet off of this, because all these are lifted off of this panel. Of course, it says audio fuse, so everyone knows, like if they couldn't figure out that this was the audio fuse. This is the JL fuse holder that he had. We used it because it's a really nice fuse holder. I really don't see the reason why we couldn't use it. This is a new 4-gauge ground that we ran. We pulled all the wire out, reran it. Obviously, they didn't have Tech Flex on it. It's all Tech Flexed. We did red so that we could kind of carry the red look, match all the red that's underneath the hood from the factory. Just kind of pull that red into it. Make it look kind of neat. Little subtle things. Dean Dictionary of made-up words. Yeah, there's probably a bunch of them. Haley would agree with you on that. If they sound good in my head, I just roll with it. But I don't know which order I said. But anyways, so there it is. There's the truck. Tuned it all up this morning. We just finished it because we had to go back. The nice thing is we didn't have to change the tune, because the tune is fine whether it's RC or Toslink. It was just changing levels, which was really easy to do. So, Fernando, can you think of anything that I missed?
Me fixing the problems?
What problems did you fix?
I don't know.
He's trying to get pictures, which is cool, because,
everything is good. I think the customer is going to be super happy.
I hope
and
so.
I'm very happy, you know.
Well, as long as Fernando's happy, that usually is how it works out.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is a 911. This is the first of the new year. Sorry we didn't make a cool long video that's 27 parts.
But you always gonna...
You guys got to live it, so...
You're going to put it together, right?
No, we haven't. It'll all be together on Monday.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is you kind of, like, you guys often ask like how long these things take.
That was for the
This is the Saber. It's a Saber. It's in DNF Tool Drawer. If you go to DNF Tool Drawer, there are links to these lights in there. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
So anyways, this is the first of the year. You got to see how long it actually takes, some of the problems we ran into, some of the problems he had. Now you know. Real time. There it is. So he's gonna take some pictures. I'm sure the customer, like I said, he's probably almost here. Paul knows we're doing this. And get 2 Sabers. We have 3 Sabers. We used to have 4 Sabers. We broke one. So we have 3 Sabers, and yes, we can have lightsaber battles. Yep. So anyways, there we go. That's what we have. We hope you guys enjoyed this. That's it for now. This show's brought to you by MorelHiFi.com. You can find all the cool stuff. This is a set of Morel hybrids in it that sound fan-freaking-tastic. You guys have a great day. Peace out.